Dímelo, gente, ¿qué pasa? Welcome back to the Latinos Unidos project. My name is Omar Fernandez Candelaria. I'm the creator and host of the Latinos Unidos project. I know it's been a while. I know we're in like a new studio, but things have changed. Listen, things happen between 1 year. I just want to apologize for the long hiatus, but I had to step back, kind of reevaluate life. Life kind of happened. Pero tú sabes que estamos aquí. And so with that, we have a guest. And so let me introduce her. So my guest today grew up in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, but currently lives in the Lancaster area. She attended Millersville University, where she not only majored in business management, but graduated in 3.5 years. While at Millersville, she was also part of a sorority, Alpha Chi Delta. Chi Alpha Z Delta and is now a consultant. Please help me receive Gladys Zurita con un fuerte aplauso. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. You know, I'm a little nervous. Listen, I know that I haven't done this in a while when I'm like this, but here we are. Also, I apologize for mispronouncing your sorority. I'm sure you get that a lot, or maybe it's just me. I don't know.
It's okay. You're forgiven.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started. So Kennett Square. Have you lived there your whole life?
I did. I was born and grew up there.
Okay. And obviously you're Mexican. It's a
Yes.
good assumption, right? Do you speak Spanish?
I do.
That's good. Okay, that's good. So then, how many siblings do you have?
I have 3. I'm the oldest.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And so are your siblings, your family still in Kennett Square?
Yeah, currently still.
Okay, cool. And so then you went to Millersville. Now, was that your first option? Did you want to go somewhere else? Like, how did that happen?
So, no, it was not my first option.
Like most people?
Yeah. When you think of Lancaster, you really think about the Amish, you know.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
So when I was applying, I applied to different schools. I toured a lot of schools. Millersville wasn't my top choice, but when I came to tour it, they really sold me
Okay.
with the dorms.
With the dorms?
With the dorms.
Out of everything else?
Yes, out of everything else, yeah. Most of the schools that I applied to, like, the dorms were kind of more on the older side.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you started Millersville, it would have probably been like what, 2017?
2019.
2019. That's when I graduated. That's crazy. But so you never saw the old dorms then, right? At Millersville?
No.
When I was a freshman, there was like the dorms that were there since like the 1800s or whatever. I actually lived in Lancaster. I commuted, so I didn't obviously stay on campus, but I just remember that being a thing too. So it was the dorms that really sold you.
It was.
Okay. Hey, I'll take it. And so then you went for business management. Is that something that you always knew you wanted to do? You know, is that, were you in between two things? Like,
So when I was in high school, you're trying to figure out who you are as an individual, as well, like what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
right.
And even now at 22, I feel like I'm still figuring it out.
1,000%. I think that's just life, right? You're just trying to figure things out as you go. Fake it till you make it almost.
Honestly, that's so true. Yes.
That is honestly my motto for life. But okay, so business management. You got there, but you said in high school before, we started recording, you actually enrolled like at I assume community college or something around the area, and you got a head start.
I did.
Now, did you always want to graduate in like 3.5? Like how was that,
So in high school, I was in a cosmetology program in high school.
Oh.
And that's what I actually wanted to do, like do hair and nails.
Yeah.
But then I started that in sophomore year of high school. And
Okay.
as I, when I reached senior year, I was really more in is that what I really want to do, you know?
Right.
And I came to a decision that I wanted to pursue higher education, and I wanted just more than a cosmetology license. And so I decided that I was going to do enrolled, and I actually got a certificate in office administration when I finished, just the one semester. There, I actually went to Delaware Community College.
Okay.
And as was going there, high school, sometimes I ask myself how I did it because went to high school and then I did after school activities. And then on top of that, I would go from 6 to 9 to community college, you know? And it was all business related classes. And I actually liked it. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is what I want to do. I want to maybe major in business when I, apply for college and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so that's what I ended up doing. Senior year, I did the whole college application process and decided my major was going to be business.
That's awesome. Wow. Okay. So you're a very hard worker then. That's awesome. Like knowing like to do all of that at such a young age. My hats to you. That's cool though. Did your parents go to college? What kind of I guess not role model, but like, were there people ahead of you that like went to college and like knew that process?
So to answer that shortly, no. I was actually the first one in my family to go to college.
We love to hear it. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so my parents didn't, I think the highest they went to in school was actually probably like 5th grade. Okay. It was just like elementary school back in Mexico. They always wanted us to obtain a higher education.
Obviously like get the opportunities that they never had, right?
Exactly.
Like being here in this country for sure.
Yes.
What part of Mexico are your parents from?
So they're actually from Guanajuato.
Guanajuato.
Yes.
People from Guanajuato are called, I think, Panza Verdes, right? Panza Verde. Never mind. Just kidding. Never mind.
Does not ring my bell.
Never mind. But Guanajuato, have you ever been? I assume you still have family out over there. And everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The last time I went was back in 2017.
Well, okay, so it's been a couple years.
It has been.
It's been a couple years. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm half Mexican myself and half Puerto Rican. The last time I was in Mexico was actually last year for my dad's wedding, and we were in Cancun, but we're from Veracruz, which is like the east coast of Mexico. But the last time I was there visiting like my family there was 2019. It's like right before the pandemic. Well, actually, the summer before going to grad school, and then while in grad school, the pandemic happened. That's cool though. That's cool. Let's see. So you speak Spanish, business and whatnot. And is that something you do now? I know I mentioned you were a consultant, but how did that all kind of fall into place?
So during my college career was kind of cut short with COVID.
Right.
I spent basically the 2 years back at home. I went back home, to save money. So then once I came back junior year, I, was working, and we were actually required to, have an internship in our major.
That's cool. Actually.
And at the time I was working at a nail salon, and I met all sorts of people coming into that nail salon.
Yeah.
And obviously they would ask me, I was actually the only one there that, spoke perfect English. So they were able to kind of relate to me more. They were able to conversate with me more, the clients there.
Right.
So which was really, really nice. And they got to know me. And actually, I had one specific client who would come to me every 2 weeks to do her toes. And she was actually a doctor and a dentist, actually. Okay. And she was, she always asked me about school and whatnot. And I kept telling her, I love what I did there. It was fun to me. And I was like, I have to find an internship because it's required. Of course. And she was like, oh my gosh, you should, come. I'll hire you as an intern. She obviously is a dentist, so she was at works at a dentist practice. It's corporate owned, so she was like, "There's a lot of room for growth and whatnot." And I was like, "Okay," and I still wanted to keep my job at the nail salon, and she helped me out. She was very flexible with me, and
that's really nice.
Yeah, so that was a good opportunity because once you get an internship, either you kind of have to stop working or kind of find a way out of that, because you have to solely focus on that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, go to school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Balance a lot of things. That's awesome though. I mean, like again, I think it's that just speaks to like just be nice to everybody, just talk to everybody because you never know like a good opportunity like that
Oh
can
yeah.
can can happen. Seems like you're very social too, so like that's awesome. Congrats. That's really
Thanks,
great to hear.
thanks.
And so how long have you been there now for?
I would say, oh my gosh, I started there in probably in July
Of 2022 or
2022 actually, yes.
okay, so you're about to hit that like 1 year mark in a couple
Yes.
months. Okay.
Yes. And so at first, it was kind of different because obviously it's in the medical field. You had to
Right.
learn all this terminology and whatnot.
Yeah.
And eventually, like till this day, I kind of have a love for like the medical aspect. I
Mhm.
learned so much being there. And basically, my job is just to talk to the patients about their treatment plan,
Okay.
and help them being able to find a way to, afford it and
Mhm.
like basically be a consultant about their experience there and the treatment plan that
Oh, that's cool.
they have.
Is this in Lancaster? Is that here?
Yes.
Okay. So have you had to use Spanish at all, like to talk to clients or patients, I should say?
Yes, yes. I have actually for Spanish speakers,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get flustered because I have to really think about what I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
and I
Oh my God. That's funny because like so Spanish was my first language growing up too. And so then obviously I got friends. They're like, Omar, how do you say toothbrush in Spanish? Which obviously I know how to, but
mhm.
like in that moment where I'm put on the spot, it's like it's just hard to like kind of process that. And I obviously you're Mexican, so obviously you speak with like a Mexican accent. I
Mhm.
imagine that there are other like sort of Hispanics that go through the patient's office, and I'm sure it could be a challenge to understand other people's like Spanish too.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like this area, like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I've encountered a lot of Puerto Ricans,
Oh yeah.
and some of them their dialect is so
It's
fast.
so yeah.
Yes,
Very
I've
pronounced.
yeah, like when I conversate with them, I just sometimes I ask them to repeat themselves
Yeah.
because
You're like, huh?
yeah, in my head,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's cool at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like it feels like a first timer, like I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god."
that's so interesting. You know what I mean? Because like Kenneth Square isn't that far, right? Because I
Mhm.
imagine there's obviously like there's a big Mexican population there too.
Mhm.
And I just like asking this question of that first encounter with other Spanish speakers, just because like, so obviously again I said I'm Mexican, Puerto Rican, so like I know both like dialects or accents or whatever. But it's kind of funny to hear other people's experiences with that and whatnot. Um, that's cool though. So going back to your Millersville experience, obviously you were part of a sorority,
Mhm.
Alpha Z
Delta.
Delta. Let's
Yes.
go. Let's go. So how was that? Like, did you know you wanted to do that? And also, well, actually, I'll let you answer that.
Okay. So, at first, no, it wasn't. Honestly, I went to college. I didn't know what a sorority was.
Okay.
Um,
Word.
yes, I didn't. Honestly, you struggled pronouncing it. I struggled too back then. I used to be like getting confused with all the sororities that were on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically, my experience with them was a good one.
Good.
I would not trade it for anything.
Good.
Um, Also, obviously, like I said, it wasn't something that I was hoping to do or anything like that.
Mhm.
They just, reached out to me.
Yeah.
As a freshman, you're kind of trying to figure out who you are.
And everybody around you, like trying
Yes.
to not fit in, but just understanding like people around you too, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And I definitely went to like some of the recruitment events that they had prior to recruitment and stuff like that. And got to know some of the girls, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is something that I would like being a part of.
yeah.
Um, but other than that, it was a good
No, that's cool.
experience.
So obviously, I went to Millersville too, and so I was part of the like chemistry, so like the science, whatever STEM. And there's not a lot of Hispanics to begin with in like science, which I hope it changes. But like obviously you're in the business and whatnot, but like within the Greek life itself, like how's like the Hispanics? Like I'd imagine you're probably one of like a few.
That's a really good topic. Yes, I could probably count with both of my hands how many Hispanics there are in the Greek life.
Now, was that something that was hard for you, right? Because coming from Kennett Square and being surrounded by, obviously, primarily Hispanics, I guess, sure, I mean, a lot more other people, but coming to Millersville and then not only that, but then going into the sorority life, was this sort of hard for you to kind of adapt to that? Or are you sort of like the type of person who's like, whatever, like, go with the flow?
So, yes and no, I would say. It was, I'm not gonna lie, at first it was kind of like out of my comfort zone, because it's an identity thing,
Right.
kind of. Trying to figure out who you are, and there's so many people there in Greek life that might not be able to relate to you.
1000%.
So definitely it was something that I would think about, and I get asked about that all the time as well. But I saw it as an opportunity at the same time, because like I'm a social person, and I like to kind of give knowledge to other people of what it's like, as a first gen, being even Latina,
Claro.
But I really hope, and of course it's been talked about in Greek life, ways to have diversity in Greek life, which is something that I think is very important.
1000%. And I think I don't know, it's almost like a constant uphill battle, because I feel like even at bigger schools, I'm talking about like Big Ten schools like Penn State and whatnot, is very, white dominated. And I'm sure there's not a lot of Hispanic centric sororities or fraternities. But fun fact, so when I first started Millersville, I never wanted to be part of Greek life at all. I never did. I never was. But I was just curious to know if there were any like Hispanic sort of like oriented, like Latino Greek life. And so at Millersville's, I forget the actual website of it. It's like that it's called, but it was a website where you can see all of the clubs.
Yes, I forget the name of the website, but I know.
Something.
Get involved.
Get involved.
Yes.
Get involved. Wow, throwback. Pero nada. So anyway, so on Get Involved, I was like, okay, are there any like Latino fraternities? So apparently there was at Millersville at some point. It was called, which trivia is actually the reason why I've called my podcast the way it is. So I don't remember correctly, but I think it was like Lambda, Upsilon. I don't remember what the third letter was. I'm gonna be honest, but apparently it was at Millersville. So then doing some more research, I found that I think they have a chapter or had a chapter either at SHIP or at Bloomsburg. Like, all right, whatever. But relating back to the podcast name, it stood for Latinos Unidos, and I forget the third letter. But that always kind of stuck in my head, like obviously until now, naming my podcast Latinos Unidos Project. I hope I don't get copyrighted or trademarked, whatever. Speak with my lawyers. But anyway, so fun. Then it was like, I think I was a senior. I remember getting a message on Facebook from somebody messaging me from, I think, either SHIP or Bloomsburg, saying like, "¿Qué pasa, hermano? How you doing? We're trying to start a chapter of a Latino like fraternity at Millersville. Would you be interested in like starting it or whatever?" But the thing is, this guy sent it 2 years before I like opened the message. So I missed my chance, man. But nada. So shout out to that guy. I don't even know his name. But anyway, tangent. Going back to the sorority life and whatnot. So you're obviously kind of the only Hispanics. There needs to be change, which I agree. I think to be more inclusive, there should be more diversity. It seems like you're still kind of involved with your sorority, like outside of graduating, right?
Yes. I am, especially since I still live on campus, off campus, Brookwood, apartments.
The apartments.
Yes.
Word.
So since I graduated early, I still hang out with all the sisters and such. So I am pretty involved, but not as involved.
Right.
I still go to all the things, alumni stuff and such. So I feel like I never left, which is nice, but it was a good experience for me.
No, that's cool. No, that's good. I'm sure it helped out in many ways too. So you obviously still live around the area. You work here in Lancaster. Do you see yourself living here for like the foreseeable future, or you got something coming up? Hopefully, school related.
So, oh my gosh, I actually think about this all the time, probably like every day.
Okay.
I think about, my future, what my future entails and such. So I actually recently just applied to graduate school.
That's cool. What kind of program?
So I applied for my MBA in health management.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yes.
Fun fact, mi gente, update. I'm actually back in school with MBA. I work still as a scientist, but I'm also in the MBA program right now through Penn State. But going back to you, that's exciting. That's exciting. Now, is this something that you always wanted to do, like back at Millersville, or do you just kind of, obviously graduated, reevaluated what you wanted to do, and you thought this was the next step?
Yeah. So, after I graduated, kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do. The internship I had, I was loving it. I was liking what I was learning. So that's when I kind of I started exploring a little bit, and I was like, I probably would consider getting my master's. The population of the Hispanics that go to receive their master's is actually really low.
It's very low. I mean, if just getting your bachelor's is low, getting like that secondary, like graduate degree is very low.
Yes. And that, every time I see someone that graduated from their master's and I know them, I just think that's, fantastic,
Absolutely. And I think with like just how things are kind of going now in terms of like the industry and whatnot, like a bachelor's really can't get you much like it used to, I don't know, 20 years ago, I guess. I'm just putting that out of thin air. But I think, getting your master's is a great opportunity, not only professionally, but I think personally too. It's also another achievement, right?
Yes.
And like you said, obviously your parents didn't get that experience to get their college education. So, like my parents always tell me, like, just échale ganas, you know what I mean? Like, you literally have everything available to you. Like, the opportunity's there. It's just a matter of grabbing it. And, I tell my friends all the time, like, listen, like, just try to challenge yourself, really. I think at the end of the day, it's all worth it. It seems like you also agreed to that too. And that's exciting. That's exciting. So you just applied. So probably within like the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple months, you'll hear back.
Yes. Cool. And that will decide, what I actually end up doing.
Okay.
If, hopefully I get accepted,
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
It's going to manifest itself. It's going to happen.
It's
going to happen. Listen,
yes.
It's going to happen.
So, if that's meant to be for me, then I will go pursue, my master's degree in the fall semester, hopefully.
Yep.
And cool. I will be, focusing on that mainly.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people do go back for their master's later in life.
Yeah.
But it's something that I just want to kind of get it done.
Yes. Yo. Actually, that's why I decided to get my second master's, just because like I don't got no kids. I live alone. Obviously, like I got no responsibilities but myself. So I'd rather just like sacrifice like some time right now and just get it over with right now too. So
I agree.
1000%. Because listen, it's just gonna get tougher with time, right? Life happens, things happen. So I think that's very mature. So that's awesome. Good for you.
And good for you too.
Thank you. Gracias. That's cool. All right, let's pivot a little bit more about yourself. So, what kind of music you listen to?
What kind of music I listen to? Oh my gosh, I'm actually very diverse with my music.
Okay.
So of course, I love reggaeton. Go Bad Bunny.
Boom, let's go.
Yes. But I also listen to regional Mexican music.
I'm gonna go like this. Drop my mic. Me too. Actually. Speaking of which, I've been on this like regional Mexican like wave right now. I'm gonna be honest. Growing up, I hated Mexican music.
Honestly, me too.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Let's go. Oh my God. Like my dad would just blast like banda music, like Los Tigres, like corridos all the time as a kid. And like I hated it. But honestly, as you get older, more mature, more wise, you like understand and get an appreciation for it, honestly. And like I'm listening to like recodo, Los Tigres, listen to like a lot of like corridos now. Fuerza Regida.
Oh my gosh, love them.
Okay, so yeah, obviously Mexican music, but would you say you listen to more Spanish music or more like English music, you know? Or like you said, I guess it's a diverse
So definitely very diverse when it comes to my music. I even listen to country music.
That's cool.
Yes,
that's cool.
I love it. You know, Luke Combs,
Morgan Wallen.
Yes. And then I also do listen to other types of genres, but I would say that Spanish music is my top choice, and everything in the car when I go to the gym, everything. It's just like,
yo, I just got like goosebumps right now just because like I love Spanish music. So like before you came here, I was blasting salsa music. Actually, my shirt. Actually, shout out to where we were safe for the shirt. They're based in Nueva York, and they are an Instagram page, a collective, where they sort of try to preserve like salsa culture in New York City. But anyway, I listen to a lot of salsa, especially like old salsa music from like the 80s, 90s, or 60s, 70s. Wow. Bachata, merengue, of course, you know, when I'm like out, you know, with the 1-2s. But I listen to a lot of reggaeton, like an absurd amount of reggaeton.
Who's your favorite artist? Let's hear it.
Okay, obviously Bad Bunny's got to be up there,
yes.
Right? Obviously. But putting him aside, I would say Fade.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Rompiendo. Yo.
Yes.
Remember, I think I reached out to you because he was going to be in Philly.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about that.
Oh my god.
Sold out like that.
I was so sad.
Man, I've been listening to that man, I'd say since like, we're in 2023. Probably like 2019, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, you're a real fan then.
100%. Listen, I was listening to, like, I don't even remember how I actually found out about him. I think there's this Puerto Rican podcaster. His name is Chente Hidrach. And he interviews a lot of people, but it's like almost like a collective. Like he has his own like studios. They do a lot of stuff. But he brought in Fade back in like 2019. And I thought it was just an interesting name, like a name Fade. So I'm like, all right, let me check this guy out. And all his music slaps. Palo. And all of his music is just so good.
It is. I agree.
I'm getting heated right now. Yeah, Fade, Raul Alejandro.
Oh, yes. Are you going to go see him?
Are you?
Yes.
Me too.
When are you going?
Yo, it's Wednesday. It's like next week.
Yes.
Actually, I was going to talk to you about that. I'm excited, yo.
Me too.
I listened to a lot of Raul. Did you like Saturno, his last album?
At first, no.
Okay. Kind of grew on you?
Yes. After listening it for a little bit too much, I was like, okay, I'm vibing with it.
Yeah.
But at first, I was like, what is this?
No, I think that's like the majority of people though. So I have been listening to Raul for like years. Even when he first dropped his first album, Afrodisiaco, I think that's when I'm like, okay, like this man is actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I will say out of the three, Afrodisiaco, Viceversa, and Saturno, Viceversa for me is my favorite album that he's put out so far. But Saturno's good. Like it like you, it almost took me a couple listens through to like realize, okay, like this is actually pretty good. But other than him, let's see, my third one, I guess, would be like, who have I been listening to lately? Let me get back to you on that one. What about you? What are your top artists right now?
Of course, Bad Bunny. He's up there, but aside from him, I would say Karol G.
Did you like her last album? Yo.
Yes. Don't tell me you didn't.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
I loved it. Yo, I'm gonna be honest though. I'm not a big Karol G fan, I will say. I didn't like her previous album. It was like, what is it? KG something. Her last album. Okay. Like before
Yes.
Mañana será bonito.
Mm-hmm.
But I listened to Mañana será bonito on my car ride to work. The whole album. It's so good.
It was so good.
Like, I actually loved it. Did you see her in concert? Wasn't she
no.
like
She was here
nearby?
recently, like
so.
a few months ago, but no, unfortunately I did not.
Yeah. All right, Karol G.
Yes.
Who else?
And then let me see. Ryan Castro.
Ryan Castro. Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
He's actually really good.
Yeah. I feel like he's, a lot of people don't really, I feel like, know about him or his music.
Often.
Yes, but if you listen to him, I think he's really
honestly
good.
I think that he'll probably see an explosion. I feel within the next I'd say year and a half.
Oh yeah,
I'll give it a year and a half. It's the same thing with Fade. Fade has been around, man, like for years, but it wasn't until maybe like a year or two ago that he like became the person who he is now.
No, I totally agree. I think I didn't know who he was till I would say the summer of 2020.
Really?
Yes.
That recent? Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about it?
Because I started listening to Ryan Castro, and that's how I found Fade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
okay. What? So Karol G, Ryan Castro would be your other person. Those are your top right now.
I would say Mike Towers.
Mike Towers, yo, he's good.
He's good.
He did you listen to his new song?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for his album.
Yes, it comes out next week.
Right? 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
23rd.
Mike Towers, he's so good. He's so good. I wish I had my phone. My phone's what I'm using to record. But yeah, that's all I listen to. It's just straight Spanish music. My sister all the time tells me like, Omar, do you listen to like anything else? No.
You're like, no.
No, straight Spanish. That's funny though. Yeah, I'm going to the Rao concert, which I'm super excited about. Have you been to Reading before? Like, have you been to the Santander Arena before?
Yes, I have.
What was the last concert you went to?
There, Mike Towers.
You saw him?
Yes. It was last year.
Jealous, yo.
Yes.
Wow. The last time I was there was to see Mark Anthony, actually.
Okay.
Exactly a year ago in March.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I missed Daddy Yankee. I think he was in Reading because I was in Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I was in Puerto Rico in December, and I saw Wisin y Yandel live. He brought out Rao. He brought out Rao as a guest. Tito el Bambino. And he also brought out Neo Garcia. I don't know if you know who Neo Garcia is. But Wisin y Yandel, that concert was so good. It was just like a childhood dream of mine. Like, I've been listening to them since like 2005, and I always told myself like, I cannot die without seeing Wisin y Yandel. And so they're apparently going on their like farewell tour. Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, listen, I got to do it. And if I'm going to do it, it better be in Puerto Rico. So I got tickets for me and my cousins, and we all went, and so good.
Wow, I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
What I am jealous about, though, is you went to Made in America last year, and you got to see Fuerza Regida.
Yes.
Bad Bunny, Ryan Castro, actually, right? They were there?
Yes.
Were you there the 2 days?
There goes your pen.
I know. Let me. Were you there for the both days, or just
no?
For that day?
I just went for that specific day, especially because Bad Bunny.
Of course.
Yes. Honestly, it was a great experience. I would say I wasn't really prepared for it. It was my first time actually going to Made in America, and it was actually the first time where you see Latinos that were performing. It was
cool.
Nice.
No, it was cool. I wish I could have gone. I forget where I was. I think I was in Nashville. I was in Nashville, so I couldn't make it. But it was just so cool to see like actual like Latinos performing on like a big stage and like headlining and whatnot, especially Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. Were people singing their music? You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely think. Well, when I was there, when like Bad Bunny came out and everything, like obviously there was people who were like singing their lungs out, and then there was. Actually had a friend from Millersville who was there too, and she knew who Bad Bunny was, but at the same time it was kind of like who's this man, you know?
What's with the hype?
Yes. So she was like telling me like her experience, because obviously if you're not Hispanic, you're gonna think other
whatever.
Yeah. But it was definitely different, I could see like for other people.
Other people around you.
Yes. But
like I can. Here goes my pen.
It wants to run away from you.
I'm gonna put this right here. I can only imagine like you tell me this, and that's for Bad Bunny, but I can only imagine Fuerza Regida. Like, was there anybody other than yourself singing their music? Like,
it wasn't like a lot of people there, to be honest. Like I was pretty hyped,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, of course.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was so hyped.
Just like looking at your stories.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're here. Yeah. But obviously you compare like, you know, the audience for Bad Bunny, it was like so much bigger.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, that man is just like something else. Yeah. Like, I don't even know how to describe him. He's just something else.
Yes.
How do you feel about him with Kendall? That's everybody's reaction. Or
oh my
every
gosh.
Latino's reaction.
Yes. I was like, when I saw, you know, the news, I was sitting on my couch and I was scrolling through and I see it and I like screamed, I think. My roommates were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, and I told them because they know who Bad Bunny is. Yeah. I always talk about him and like, you know, and I was like, he was seen like making out with like Kendall Jenner and they were like, that's embarrassing for your your culture, you know? And I was like, yeah, kind of. But I was shook. I was like,
at least you're being honest about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, my guy. ¿Qué haces? Yeah, I'm still trying to process it. Just because, like, obviously, not Latino. And, you know, we like to, you know, stay within, or not stay within. Like, we're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, whatever. I have mixed feelings about it. But,
no, me too. Like, I'm kind of like, okay. But then I'm like, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. I guess he could, I mean, he could do whatever he wants. He has an album called, he can do whatever he wants. Yo hago lo que me da la gana. So, yeah, it's just not in the flesh for sure.
It's temporary though.
It is temporary.
Yes, I feel like it's not gonna go they're not gonna get married.
Yeah, no.
Yes, and if they do, I'll probably go stop it. Yeah.
No, I object.
With everyone else.
Okay, cool. So other than music, you know, what got any hobbies? You know, are you are you like a master like painter that nobody knows about? Like, what do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun? Yeah. So I actually go to the gym and it was, oh my gosh, it was actually something recent that I started, you know, actually opening my horizons to. Not just the gym, but like just physical activity, going to yoga and Pilates. It's
how do you feel like after starting all of that and going through that?
Physically good as well as mentally.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it has changed me as a person in a good way. I feel like before I was, you know, my daily routine was not the best.
Okay.
And I was always
being honest to yourself, right, about it.
Yes, and you know, there's a lot of people that are like that, which is, you know, it's fine, you know, but I was someone who just, you know, college, you know, you wake up late and you wake up whenever you want. But now doing that, I felt like there's just more to life. It's kind of weird just talking about life, but I feel like if I don't wake up early, I mean like sometimes I wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah, and if I don't get started with my day, I feel like it wasn't a good day.
You know what's crazy? So I've been going through this like myself. So I wake up mad early every day to go to work. I commute an hour to and from. It's crazy.
Wow.
So I wake up around like 6:30, 6:40 every day during the week. And then on weekends, I try to catch up with sleep because again, I'm also in school and it's very overwhelming. We could talk about that then. But so yeah, on the weekends, like I want to sleep in. But I know that if I wake up after like 9 o'clock, I feel like my whole day is just like gone. Like, so I feel that too. But
what time do you go to bed?
It's probably my fault too, because I go to bed mad late too.
Oh, really?
Like on the weekdays, I try to be in bed by 11. But I'd say I go to sleep maybe like 11:30. Weekends, I mean, it depends. Like if I go out or whatever,
Right.
it'll be later. But yeah, around there, 11:30. What about you?
I'm actually gonna be honest. I'm a whole grandma.
You go to bed like what, 8:30?
Okay. No, not that bad. But I'm usually in bed by like 9:30 the latest.
Wow. That's good though. I mean, like, listen, I wish I could do that, but good for you. I'm sure your body's thanking you like with each passing day.
No, yes. I definitely think it is. I feel like if I like stay up past, I can stay up till 10, but if I stay up till 11, I'm the next day it's just not good.
So you do sound like a grandma right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, no, I am. And like since I still live on campus,
Yeah.
I have friends asking me, "Do you want to go out on like a Thursday, Wednesday night?" And I'm like, "No."
Listen, I got responsibilities. My body needs sleep.
Yes. Before I didn't think sleep was that important to me, but
Yeah.
now it's different.
Yeah, I think, yeah, just after college, you just kind of realize like, wow, like the way I was living is very not healthy. But I'm glad to hear that you're going through this like self improvement, I guess, in your
Yes.
life, right? So I think that's good to hear. I've been working out now, like lifting for about like almost 2 years now. But before then, like I wasn't. I mean,
Mhm.
well, I wasn't lifting, but back in high school, I used to box. I was an
Okay.
amateur boxer actually. Shout out Knives Gym. My record is 1-1. I lost my first one, won my second one, and retired. Retired on a high note. So that was, and then after that, I started college and had no time to train or anything. But yeah, it's good. Working out is good. Like I feel like I try to work out 3 times a week, and if I don't, I just feel like I'm cheating myself. Like I need to do it.
No, I feel that. I completely get that as well.
What gym do you go to? Planet
Go to-
Fitness?
No, I go to Crunch.
Crunch? Okay. By the mall?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
I go to Limitless. It's a 24-hour gym here in Lancaster, like Lancaster City. So you need to like scan in to go in. But here's my routine. This is a Monday. Let's fast forward. It's Monday. I wake
Okay.
up 6:30, get ready, shower if I want to, or I will. I shower, guys. So get ready.
Don't lie.
I get ready. You know, I drive for an hour, listen to some reggaeton, of course. Go to work. I leave work around maybe like between 4:30 and 5:30 sometimes. Get to Lancaster between like 6 o'clock to 6:30. Try to refresh, sit down for like 10 minutes, and then go to the gym. When I'm back from the gym, I cook, I eat dinner, and by the time I'm done, it's like 8:30. Now then do schoolwork. I go to bed late just because like I need to catch up with schoolwork and whatnot. But yeah, it's my routine.
How's
So,
school going for you? What's your experience like? Give me some
oh yeah,
insight,
anyway.
please.
So I started this year, early January or mid January with my MBA program. It's all online,
Okay.
which is nice, very nice. So it's all asynchronous too. Like there's no sort of like lecture you have to sit through. There are live sessions, but they're optional and recorded. I'm taking 3 courses. So I'm actually a full-time student as well while being a full-time employee. So I really, really did it to myself.
Yay.
Thank you. Decora. So I'm taking a team management class, taking financial accounting, and I'm also taking, it's like a leadership change and organization change class. I don't know. I can look it up later and tell you. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first couple of weeks, just trying to get back into that school mode of just
Mhm.
like, gotta do homework. I got projects to do. I gotta write papers. But then the second was just to finding time to do like all of that stuff. But so far so good. You know, I'm getting pretty good grades. You know, A's. But you know, it's really nice. I guess advice that I could give you, like once you get accepted and you start, try to talk to as many people as you can. Try to network. I think MBA programs are very much set to sort of network.
Right.
But also don't stress out. Like just do the best you can. Do all the work, of course, but um, just try to learn. Try to learn. That was not advice at all, but but I think you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just try to do the best you can. And listen, you've been doing it so far. You've been killing it. So you're gonna kill it in grad school.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's see, Lancaster. Yeah. So do you like Lancaster? You know, now that you've lived here for a couple years now, do you like it?
I would say
Honestly.
yes and no.
Okay.
Me answering yes and no to everything.
That's all
So actually, I do like it because it's unique in its own way. You
Right.
know, it's different compared to Kennett Square where I'm coming from.
Right.
Kennett's a little bit more smaller. It's more of a town where kind of everyone knows everyone.
I was
Kind of,
just gonna ask you that. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I love it there too. But now that I've been here for so long, of course I've like adapted to everything. The traffic here, I'm actually not a fan of it.
No, it sucks.
It does.
Sucks. Like to get in and to get out.
Yes, it's horrible.
Horrible.
Yes, that's the one thing I don't like.
Mhm.
But the city here, honestly, before coming here, I didn't even know Lancaster had a city.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Living under a rock, as you could tell. But
Yo.
I really like it.
Mhm.
And honestly, I would consider staying here.
Wow.
Yes, I
Wow.
would. Because when I go back to Kenton, I visit my parents, I kind of have like a sense in me of like, am I meant to be here? Like, am I meant to stay here? Like, I feel like when I go there, I'm just like not happy in kind of a sense.
Yeah, you almost feel like not out of place, but like you kind of know that like, hey,
Yes,
don't want to.
I do feel out of place.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I kind of do. And it's a feeling that I always tell my parents about. You know,
Sure.
I'm like, feel like I'm not meant to stay here. In other
I feel
words,
that. You know, has there been something? Is there a specific something that you can kind of pinpoint to, or you know, is this after living in Lancaster that you kind of found out about like having that feeling?
yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say like after living here, like I said, I love it here. But I don't know if I see myself staying here, but I would definitely consider it. Like, you know, after my lease is over and such.
Yeah, no, of course. That's cool.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, with grad school and all that
Mhm.
stuff, that's cool. You know, for me, so I grew up here. Like I
Mhm.
grew up here. You know, my dad has businesses here and whatnot. Like this is all I know. But you know, after a while, and I also went to Millersville, so I did not go. Like I commuted. So it wasn't until I went to grad school in Wisconsin, like I moved like away. Actually, all of the schools that I applied to were all out of state. Like I just wanted to go. Like I was really tired of Lancaster.
Okay.
Like I wanted to get out. So I went out. I got out. And I remember like I was really homesick like the first couple like a months being in Wisconsin. Just because like one, there isn't a lot of Hispanics out over there either
Mhm.
in Madison, Wisconsin. And also I don't know, I just never it's cliche to say, but like you don't know what you're missing until you don't have it. I think that's the term,
Yes.
right? Okay, that. And so being away, I'm like, man, I actually miss Lancaster. So then when I moved back, I was like, okay, cool. Like I guess I needed the time to be away to realize my love for it.
Mhm.
Do I see myself living here forever? I don't know. I did re-sign my lease here, so I'm gonna be here for another year at least. Um, but I don't know. I really do enjoy it here. I think Lancaster is a cool city. I think there's a lot to do. Kind of,
yes.
you
It's
know,
prospering. Like,
prospering for
yes.
sure. I mean, there's so many new things coming up. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you like learn the new fun fact about like Lancaster? It's the #1 place to like retire.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Fulton Theater, Opera Theater, you know, like the one here on
Mhm.
Prince Street, is the oldest running theater in all of America?
Really?
Yeah.
I did
Fun
not
fact.
know that.
Fun fact. Yeah, and that's cool. I didn't know that. It's like the #1 place to.
Yeah. You would think it was like Florida, but
That's
it
what I
like
mean.
changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? So my dad owns 2 auto repair shops.
Okay.
All right, in downtown or here, cerca, close by. Roy's Auto Service, shout out. And so I remember, so I worked with him all throughout undergrad. So like
Mhm.
you, I was also busy like 24/7. Like if I wasn't at school, I was at my dad's shop working. I like had no time for anything. And like you, I also think back and I'm like, damn, like how did I do all of that?
Right.
But anyway, so I remember I was taking a customer home because her car was being worked on. And so she was Puerto Rican and it was like her and like her 2 kids and I guess her husband. So, I like to small talk too. I think I'm a pretty social guy. And so I was like, oh, cool. So like, you're from Puerto Rico. Like do you know anybody here in Lancaster? Like what made you move here? She's like, no, like we have nobody here. But honestly, what we did was we just went on Googled like top 10 places to live in like all of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And like Lancaster was like number 1, number 2, or number 3 or something like that. I don't remember like the exact Google search, but it was like something like that.
Right. Oh, wow.
Which is insane. But yeah, no, Lancaster's been good to me for sure.
That's good to know.
Sure. Yeah, let's see. What else do I want to know about you?
Ask away.
So we talked about school. We talked about sort of your childhood. Actually, let's go back to your childhood. So you have 2 other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
They're both younger than you.
Yes.
Do you get along with your siblings? Are you close to them?
I would say I'm really close with one of them.
Okay.
The one I'm really close with the younger one.
Okay.
So he's a freshman in high school right now.
Cool. Okay.
And then I do have another brother, and he's a sophomore in college.
Okay. Is he at Millersville too, or no?
No, he went to a small private college called Theo College. I honestly don't know what it's called. Like, no, where it's located.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I love my sister. I have a younger sister. Mm-hmm. She's a sophomore at University of Pittsburgh right now.
Okay.
We are like this, yo. I miss her. I love her. But okay, cool. So now you said your younger brother is a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously you're older. Now, do you find that it's kind of hard to relate to him being that age gap? Or, how's that dynamic?
I would say it can be hard to relate to him only on certain things.
Yeah.
Especially just I feel like as you get older, not that you kind of like miss out on like what's going on and like it's I don't even know if he would be considered what generation.
What are you? What?
I think I'm Gen Z.
I'm Gen Z. Yeah, I'm Gen Z.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Listen,
no, maybe I'm not Gen Z. I don't know.
No, you are. So I'm 97.
Oh,
and that's like I think like 98 is the cutoff between. Wait, there's Gen Z and then there's Gen what?
I think there's another one. I think I'm not Gen Z.
We'll have to look into this, but I'm pretty sure I'm Gen Z.
No, I think you are.
Right.
I think I'm wrong on myself.
No, it's all good. We'll just edit that out.
Yes, but there's different types of like lingo, going on now.
Yeah. Are you on TikTok?
I watch people's TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok.
Okay, but like you have TikTok.
Yes.
Okay, so I do too, but I only got it just because my sister would always send me TikToks,
mm-hmm.
and like I would be like just watch it on the browser or whatever.
Yes.
I was like, whatever, I'll get an account. But like at some points too, and my sister and I were only like 4.5 year difference. And so then there's stuff sometimes that she says, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yes.
Like, which makes me feel old a little bit, but I can only imagine like with your younger brother, but still in high school.
No, yeah. Like sometimes like he'll say like certain things, and I'm like, what? And then he's like, never mind. So I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, he kind of gets frustrated with me because I don't understand.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like life, you know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you give him a lot of advice too, right? I'm sure he looks up to you.
Yeah.
So, do you speak Spanish to your parents then, I imagine?
Yes, I do. So my mom does not speak English whatsoever.
Okay.
So I communicate with her in Spanish and also my dad, but sometimes depending on what we're talking about, I'll speak to him in English and then he'll answer me in
that's crazy.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so crazy. So so like relating to you actually. So my mom, let me ask you this actually. So like as a kid back in school, did you have to translate for your mom basically?
I still do to this day.
To this day?
Yes.
Okay, so same. My mom, back when I was a kid, like did not know sort of a lot of English either. Very broken English. But now she's like a lot better. Like she got tutoring and whatnot. But sort of like that dynamic that you have with your parents. So me personally, I talk to my parents both in Spanish.
Okay.
All Spanish with my mom. But then there are points, like you said, with my dad, like I will speak in English, bits and pieces. But I would say 92% of the time it's Spanish with my dad. But my sister, so she'll talk in Spanish to my mom 100%. But with my dad, 100% English. It's the weirdest thing ever.
No, my siblings are like that
really?
too. Yes.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yes, it's so weird. And then especially, I feel like since I was the oldest, obviously I went to school, I learned English.
Of course.
So I would speak to them in English as they were, growing up. Yeah. And throughout the years, they kind of lost the Spanish language.
Really?
Yeah. So they only know it enough to talk to my mom.
Yes. I see, and like understand what she's saying.
Yeah, and they completely understand it, but to speak it, they struggle.
Oof.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is so sad.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting too, just because like you're obviously all in the same family, and like that they lost sort of that Spanish too.
Yes.
No, I'm like really fortunate to one, speak Spanish because I think it helps out in so many ways. I mean, clearly like with you and your job and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of sad, just like I guess when Spanish is lost that way. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Let's see. Yeah, Spanish is cool. Do you so we were talking about music earlier. Do you know how to dance?
Yes, but honestly, ever since COVID, I don't know about you, but I used to go to bailes and like
claro, like quinceañeras
like,
and bautizos and whatnot. That's cool.
Yes, and oh my gosh, what's the rodeos?
Yeah,
those
you went to all that?
Yes.
What? Out in Kenneth Square?
Not in Kenneth. I would go to like I think the furthest I've gone was probably Philly, but Delaware. I've lived really close, so I would go there too.
Oh,
yes,
that's cool. I feel like you know what. So my dad's Mexican. He's the Mexican, and my mom's a Puerto Rican. So all of my family is either all in Puerto Rico or all in Mexico. There's like no in between. Like honestly, the only family I got here was that cousin that you just saw earlier, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know that he lived next to me. Like a great aunt. I have an uncle that lives in Florida, but I don't really see him at all. And then I got two tios. They're like my dad's tios that live here in Lancaster.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. So honestly, like I look back at life, and honestly, it's almost like an identity crisis, and almost a little bit, because like I feel like I got not cheated out, but like I missed all those like parties. You know what I mean? Like get-togethers like that, just because like my dad never necessarily was like not like my dad's Mexican, but I feel like he kind of just left that like in Mexico. Like
right.
He's like a very hard worker, he doesn't feel like that should define who you are. I would say the opposite, but as I've gotten older, I've had the experience of like going to like, fiestas, Mexican parties and whatnot. And I'm like, man, I wish I had this like growing up, or I would go more to that. But
no, I completely understand, because I would say my dad's the same way.
Okay.
I can't even remember the last time he went to something like that. Okay. Probably when he was like a teenager.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So it's been a
while. He I would say he believes the same thing. Yeah. Like he has a different mindset, in life. Mm-hmm. And but thankfully he's always like been supportive in the fact you go out and explore,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so then I know we've been talking for a while. I also don't want to take up much of your time, but then I guess wrapping everything up almost. So what is like Latinidad for you? Like being Hispanic, being Latina, how do you feel about that? Is that something you're proud of, that you wear proudly of? Like, how do you feel about that?
I would definitely say I'm proud. It's definitely I would say I'm proud for different reasons,
Yeah.
It's a way for me to, expand other people's horizons and be almost a power of knowledge to other people who are not open-minded in a sense. And I'm able to teach them different things about just not only my culture, but, you know, what it's like to be Latina, a first gen student,
Claro.
and the barriers that come along with that. And it's something that I always speak about, especially with my roommates. They're white, and they ask me a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, it's good.
And it's good because I'm able to teach them, and you know, and it's a way for them to kind of like I said,
Like understand,
understand,
right? Like what it is living here, being a first gen,
yes,
everything as a Latina. And I think that you could even apply that to yourself too, because like you're so used to obviously the circumstances of like the way you were raised, where you're placed in society, but also kind of with their own questions, you almost reflect in yourself, like, okay, like,
yes,
you know, this is going on. Yeah, no, I respect that. Well said, honestly. Yeah, me personally, obviously with this project, I am very proud of being Latino. I agree with 100% with what you said. I think that us Latinos, I think we are very hard workers. You know, we definitely want to work for our stuff too. And I think we also have rich cultures. Not only like being as Latinos, but even like individual countries within like Latin America, right? Like Mexico has a rich culture, same as like Peru, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Colombia. So I think that mixing is so beautiful. And yeah, I proudly say that I'm Latino, and of course there's struggles that, you know, I try to relate that to people that aren't so familiar with our culture too. And you know, I think it's cool to see other Latinos' success. It makes me happy.
yes.
And I try to tell everybody that, because I think that there is still a lot of work to be done within our community to help each other out. Because I think our community too can sort of like be very judgmental.
Oh yes,
and I think that's like
agree.
a big barrier into sort of having that support system within our own community. But yeah, I think that's just like part of it, and just try to be better each day. But no, we've talked for like an hour. I gotta wrap this up. But is there any things going on in your life that you want people to know? Any shout outs you want to give out before we wrap things up?
Well, no, but I want to thank you for having me. This was, you know, it's a great experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's a great platform, I would say, as well. I think you're doing a really good job.
Thank you. No, thank you. I really appreciate that. And honestly, thank you for being willing to come sit down and talk with me for a little bit. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, just thank you for everything. And I hope you're not nervous anymore, right? It's not bad, right?
I'm still nervous. I'm still nervous. After an hour, I'm still nervous. Like my hands are even sweating, I think.
No, pues nada. Gladys, thank you so much for being here today, taking some time out of your day to come and speak with me, and so that the world can know a little bit about you. Pues nada, mi gente, los dejo. I think that will be everything for today. Just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. You know, I think that this is something I'm really passionate about, which I really want to continue on for the remainder of the year and moving forward. And I think that I need to, I'm going to record an episode after this, kind of explaining where I want to take this platform. Pero nada, mi gente, thank you again for taking time.
You.
Y los dejo. Peace.